views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello everyone, welcome to Open BxRx, a special coverage of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, and how it is impacting our community and beyond. Coming up, a local councilman's son tested positive for the virus, and he joins us to share the personal impact as well as his take on how this is being handled locally and nationally. And the 2020 census is taking place, and a representative will share how you should be preparing and what you need to know. Plus, know your rights. An attorney will join us with information on employee rights during this pandemic. After that, Bobby C. will update us on the impact of COVID-19 in the world of sports. And then later on, we'll hear from a life coach with tips on how to breathe. So stay tuned. All this and more is headed your way. We are now open. Hello, I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and we're watching Open, the live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, has spread internationally, and for many, it has hit very close to home. Our first guest is a New York City councilman whose son has tested positive, and he joins us to share his story and more. We welcome Fernando Cabrera from District 14. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow, I'm on the line with the Councilman Fernando Cabrera out of the Bronx. How are you? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Bob. It's so good to be in your show here this morning.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things going around. Of course, coronavirus is the big thing in the news. Everybody's talking about shutdowns and things of that nature, but it has hit close to home, hasn't it?
Yes, he has. You know, my son, about a week ago, started showing symptoms. He was tested 4 days later. He came out positive, and so he is quarantined with his wife and my grandson. He's 30 years old, but thank God he's broke through the fever and he has recuperated. But now it also hit my other adult daughter and her 4 children and her husband, and so this is something that has hit both for all my children, my grandchildren, and some of the members of my church, because I'm not only a council member, but I'm also a pastor right here in the Bronx, and so we're feeling it, the impact of what Corona could do when somebody becomes infected by it.
Yeah, and the lines are jumping. People are calling. They want to know more and more about it. What do you think in the wake of this pandemic? What would you like to see happen?
Well, I'd like to see on-demand testing. One of the biggest issues that is taking place right now, and I want everyone to know, is that most people that are requesting the test are not getting it. And I find that people that have symptoms, I know them personally. I have a cousin who had pneumonia, and she went in and they didn't test her. They sent her back home. It is just inconceivable that we saw what was happening in China. We saw what was happening in other countries, and we were not prepared. There is not enough testing kits. That is the fundamental problem. So this is much bigger than what people think it is right now. It has spread beyond containment. So if people think, the numbers are still quite low, which they're not, because the reality is probably by now many people, if I may, most people have already been exposed to it, and the numbers for next month is going to be staggering. We're talking about in New York State a few million, and we're talking about 400,000 people that are going to require hospitalization, but we only had 20,000 beds. I don't want to push the panic button because anxiety is not going to help anybody. But I want people to be alert to it and to try to have the social distance that is so needed, and at the same time, while they're doing that, to stay connected with people, video conferencing, call people, and spend time with your loved ones at home, because this is not going to be a 1 week ordeal. The fact is, public schools just today, they were closed down until April 20th.
Yes.
But it's going to go beyond that. I think the whole semester, to be honest with you, is gone. And how we handle this is going to determine whether the entire year is going to be gone.
Yeah.
So we're facing an unprecedented event right here in New York City that we haven't seen in our generation.
Yeah, and this is bigger than a lot of people suspect. I mean, you still have people going out there, and I sat outside of a health food store just resting. I just put my seat back before I went in, and I watched a number of people going to this other store, touching the same handle over and over and over and over again. And I said, wow. So there's still a lot of people out there who are not taking it seriously. What do you say to them?
I will say to them that this is very serious. It might not have the impact if they're young. They're probably not going to have the same, unless they have some underlying health condition, impact that it will have to 80-year-old. But I'm telling you, the average 80-year-old, 15% will die. That's just the numbers that we have seen worldwide. And so this is a time, there's two questions that we need to ask ourselves. What is the most loving thing that I could do? And what is the wisest thing that I could do? The wisest thing is, you got to wash your hands. You got to be watchful what the facts that are taking place. But the most loving thing to do is let's stop hoarding. I mean, this is not a hurricane. The food will be there. The supermarkets will never close. The pharmacies are never going to close. And it's ironic, may I say this, that people are buying like the wrong thing. They're like, I'm going to buy meats and store up the meats.
Yeah.
It really should be, if you want to boost your immune system, go as much vegan as you could go. Vegetable, fruits, and nuts. But I would tell people this is serious, and we're going to end up with a lot of people in the hospital. It's going to tax the healthcare system that we have, in an unprecedented a way that we have never seen. And I'm telling you, because I'm in direct contact with the state and with the mayor's office, the numbers are going to be something that we have never felt here in the city.
Wow.
And so, yes.
Why do you think we were so unprepared for something like this?
I think we were in denial. I think some people in government wish they could just wish it away. You can't just talk it away. They thought that we were able to contain it, but in a country this large, and we were having people coming from all over the world, they had to shut down the gateways. It's just too little too late with some of these bans, flight bans that we have right now. And so I don't think that the federal government thought that it was going to be this bad, in that it was going to cost so much instability. Look at the stock market to get today. As soon as it opened, it just dropped 9%. They had to put the brakes on. Look, can I say something? And if I could just get a bit spiritual here.
Yes.
We went through 7 years of prosperity of fat cows. We're about to go through 7 years of skinny cows, where they're going to eat up the fat cows. So be prepared, be wise, do savings, have a budget plan that makes sense. Some people are going to lose jobs. Some people are going to have to reinvent themselves or translate into other types of jobs that are going to be in higher needs. This is a time that we got to have good management. We're going to have to connect with people in ways that we had never thought about. I'm gonna have starting today, I'm gonna go Facebook Live and have an open show for an hour so people could talk about what their feelings, their anxieties, their depression. There are people who are starting to feel very lonely. So we're going to have a Facebook Live show on that because my doctor is in counseling, and I could tell you I'm starting to see the signs already of people who are going to start getting traumatized, and it's going to be like a shock to the emotional system.
So it's going to affect people's mind, body, and spirit also.
Absolutely, and this is the time that we need to support one another. This is a time that we got to look out for our seniors. There's people with respiratory problem that we got to look out for, and let's help one another. Let's be the best New Yorkers that we have ever seen. Let's rise to the occasion. Let me just say one more thing. Let's stop stigmatizing people who had come down with it, because you could be next. This is not leprosy, as it was 2,000 years ago. You hear about somebody who has it, let's reach out. I mean, we could deliver food to the door, and whatever they need, obviously they can open the door and get their stuff. And so let's reach out. Let's be loving. The happiest people that I know are generous, loving people.
Yes. And finally, what effect do you think it will have on the elections?
It had a tremendous effect. We just, the governor, and he did the right thing. He postponed the Queens, Bronx, the Queens borough president race. He also, I got a feeling the presidential one will be postponed probably into May. That's not final. But I got a feeling the New York presidential one will be moved, because next month is, I believe, when we're going to hit the height of this epidemic, because the numbers are going to start doubling per day. And once the testing goes out, it's, on demand, it's going to be, the numbers are going to be astronomical.
Yes.
And so I think this presidential race, in November, let's see who comes out. It's going to be, I wish we had an online safe way of doing voting. I hold the bill for that in the city council, and there's only one company that has the capability to do that, but the trust is not there yet. We might be pushed to do something radical as that. But I'm in conversation with Director Mike Ryan. I chair the governmental operations committee in the city council. And so we are talking about possibilities. By the way, all city council offices have been closed as of today. And same thing you're going to see. There's going to be a rollout. What I think is going to happen is that the President of the United States is going to put a mandatory shutdown for 2 weeks in this nation. Because this has to be all across. Can't just be one state. But I tell you, mark my word, that's exactly what's going to take place. That's the word that I'm hearing. That he's getting very close to mandating, basically, martial law or Shelby law upon the United States, and so we could clamp down on the climb of cases. Wow.
Councilman Fernando Cabrera and Pastor, take us out with a prayer.
Well, Lord, we just thank you that none of this has caught you by surprise. You didn't wake up this morning saying, oh my God, to yourself. You are sovereign. You are in control. I pray for everyone who's listening right now for a peace that the world does not have, to deal with all the anxiety, to deal with all desperation. We thank you. We receive it right now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And Pastor, we continue to pray for your family.
Thank you so much.
And thank you. Councilman and Pastor Fernando Cabrera. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more next. And here with a young lady that we had on the show once before, Jennifer Dublin. She's the Assistant Regional Census Manager. How are you, and welcome back?
I am well, and thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Now, with the event of coronavirus in the news all over the place, this pandemic is very, very serious, and people are going to say, whoa, I don't want to answer my doors, but there's other ways you can do it, right?
Absolutely. So, of course, the census is continuing to carefully monitor the coronavirus situation and follow guidance of federal, state, and local health authorities. And, of course, we're going to be adjusting some things just to keep a few things in mind. The first is going to be protecting the health and safety of our staff and the public, and, of course, fulfilling our requirement to deliver the 2020 counts. So, just so you know, last week we went live. So, every single household in the United States last week received an invitation to complete the census. In that invitation, there is a website, my2020census.gov. In addition, there is a 12-digit code. Every single household in America right now can go online to my2020census.gov and complete their census.
So people can fill it out without human contact.
Yes, they can. So at this time for the 2020 census, it has never been easier to respond on your own, whether online, over the phone, or by mail, all without having to meet a census taker. So again, the invitation that every single household received, it has a 12-digit code, which is not necessary for completing the census, but it helps. It gives the website, which is my2020census.gov, and it also lists phone numbers in 13 languages in which the public can call to actually complete their census. But the main number for the online is 844-330-2020, and that is the main English line. So again, right now, every single resident that hears the sound of my voice can go online to my2020census.gov and complete their census, or call 844-330-2020.
So people are still responsible for filling out the census forms. Now, will there be an extension due to the coronavirus?
So as of right now, our operations are still on our current timeline, and we are 100% committed to still getting an accurate count. Regardless of this virus, we have to understand it is our duty as citizens, and especially in New York City and in the Bronx, we have to make sure that we are still committing to giving an accurate count. Again, there is over $675 billion worth of federal funds, and also redistricting and congressional seats are at stake. So we really need everyone to go online or call the phone number and still complete their census.
Has the census been impacted by the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic?
Well, again, I think the entire universe at this point has some sort of feelings or has definitely been affected. But because of this, we are making sure that we are keeping the safety of the American public and the safety of census employees as our number one concern. So we are going to continue to work for the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the President's Task Force, as well as state and local health departments to ensure that their guidance is incorporated into our operations. So our operations for the 2020 census and ongoing housing service, they actually have procedures built into them to specifically anticipate epidemics and pandemics.
Got it.
We will continue to work with the relevant authorities to keep those up to date. But again, this is a time where self-response is so important, and it's such a good thing that, you know, the census has incorporated this technology into the 2020 census. While we did not foresee this happening, it's just very good that, you know, every single household can go right now to my2020census.gov and successfully enter the data for their household.
Jennifer Dublin, Assistant Regional Census Manager. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much also for having us, Bob. And don't forget, my2020census.gov. Be counted, stand up. Let's get a count accurate for New York City.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more next. All right, I'm here with Barry Saltzman. He's a Pitta partner, LLP. Hi, Barry. Tell us about the COVID-19 employee rights.
There are no specific COVID-19 employee rights because nobody passed laws or regulations in anticipation of this pandemic. What we do have is a network of rights regarding sick leave and time off and caring for family. That patchwork does exist, but it was not intended to handle a pandemic. That's where we look for guidance. The most obvious employee rights that are in place are, the Family Medical Leave Act, for example. Which allows employees to take time. If your employer is 50 employees, federal law allows time off without pay to care for yourself, care for others.
What's being implemented now on top of what we already have?
If you mean if there's specific legislation that is being passed at this point, no. I'm not aware of anything that is being enacted. There are state, city, and federal sick laws that are in place, and employees can avail themselves of those depending on where they are. There are policies that employers should have in place, which they'll turn to, and then there's just what I would call basic common sense, which seems to be the predominant directive from the authorities, whether it's the courts or agencies or the CDC, to use the kind of hygiene that and distancing.
Yes.
That everybody seems to be adopting, and is very uncomfortable and crushing. On the other hand, it's absolutely imperative.
Yes. What about employees and paid time off? Because there's a certain amount of paid time that you can get off, but these are extraordinary conditions, of course.
Correct. And there's not always clarity about whether this situation is covered by the particular laws. But let's assume they are. In New York City, in the 5 boroughs, there is paid time off. It's a recent enactment, and employees can avail themselves of it under the rules. That was not planned for this situation, but there it is. Companies may have sick leave policies, and they can be drawn down on. Outside, and then there's time off without pay. For example, New York State to care for others. Employees can take time off up to 12 weeks, but they don't. It's without pay.
How about the rights of contractors and part-time workers?
Okay, unfortunately for those folks, they're part of the American tradition of go it alone. Independent people who are independent contractors, true independent contractors, do not have these rights as a matter of as a general matter. There is one area they do have if you're in New York City and New York State. I just got it modified. The discrimination laws, oddly enough, are relevant to a lot of employees. So let's say you've come from a country where there's been a lot of this disease has impacted seriously. South Korea, Italy, China. You come from there, and your employer says, "Okay, you're sitting in the closet for the rest of the time, or you go home." You can't discriminate. That's a generality. You can't discriminate. People are protected by the discrimination laws. Certainly, if you're an employee in New York State, New York City, and the federal, but also if you're in New York City, New York State, if you're an independent contractor, the discrimination laws now apply in some respects. So they might be able, if they feel they're being discriminated against because of their national origin, for example, that's something that they might be able to draw down for protection.
And if you're uncomfortable with your employer's policies, what can one do?
Okay, so here, employees don't have the right to go to their employer and say, "I don't like your policies. I want you to change them." But in this context, it is probably a good idea if you have a reasonable basis for a complaint or an issue, a concern, to speak up about it and see what happens. People are protected. That is one thing that all statutes will make clear. You are protected against retaliation for good faith efforts for protection under these statutes, whether it's for leave, whether it's anti-discrimination, whether it's for a safe workplace. The OSHA, the Federal Occupational Safety Health Administration, and people think of that as hard hats and construction cranes, but no, it's going to apply to coronavirus. There are regulations with basically hygiene, which we've all heard about, washing and keeping the distance, going home if you don't feel well. Don't come to work if you got a fever.
Well, what if they're making you come to work even if you're sick? Okay,
so here the anti-retaliation provisions could offer protection. The general rule in the labor world is, obey and grieve. So if you get an order to do something, then you ought to follow your employer's advice to the boss. There is an exception. If there is imminent danger to health and safety, the employee has the right under most laws to say, no, I'm not going to touch that live wire because you tell me to. I'm not going to do that. So is this situation parallel? Well, not only does it seem to me, and I'm not giving labor advice, law advice, legal advice, I can't do that in a telephone conference. It's got to be specific to the individuals and the situation. But as a general observation, it seems to me this situation is clearly in imminent danger, not only to the person involved, but to everybody around. And to take steps to safeguard your own health and the health of your family and the health of your coworkers and your neighbors, and it is something that I think the law will respect. So it behooves people who have reasonable concerns to voice them. They will probably be protected against retaliation, and it would be a very strange employer who doesn't realize that it really will work to their benefit, because the last thing any company needs, any business needs, is to find out that one of their workers has been diagnosed as taking a test. It's a terrible tragedy for that individual and their family, but it will shut down the shop.
Know your employee rights and contact Barry Saltzman.
Know your responsibilities, and temper good common sense with a lot of courage, because those are the ingredients I recommend for this recipe.
And they should contact you where?
I can be reached at Pitta LLP. The main line number is 212-652-3890. We have people on staff who will answer the call and direct you to the attorney that is available who might be able to help you. We are distinguished, I think, in fact that we represent employers, we represent unions, we represent individual employees, as the case may be, because we feel we provide services to the community. Everybody has rights, everybody has responsibilities, so we're here to help you meet them.
And for more, you can go to pittalaw.com, right?
That's right. That's the online.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Barry Saltzman. You're a wealth of information.
Thank you very much. There's an opportunity. Keep up the good work, everybody.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Bye-bye.
We spoke to State Senator Alessandra Biaggi on what she expects to see. Let's take a look.
A lot of people will be either losing their jobs, or a lot of their shifts will be cut in the coming days from their employers. And so we want to make sure that this emergency paid sick leave is being accessed by every single Bronxite, every single New York City member, every single New Yorker that needs it. It's very, very important. So that's number one. Number two, if you are someone who can go to the grocery store on a regular basis because you are healthy and you are young, please consider making sure that you not only of course, get enough food for yourself and your family, but consider reaching out to the elderly, the aging New Yorkers in your life. Ask them what they need. They are afraid to leave their homes right now. And quite frankly, they should not leave their homes right now. In fact, they're the most susceptible population. So do what you can for them. The bill that was passed by the House, as you mentioned earlier, right, which is the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, and I apologize for not having the name earlier, or not saying the name earlier, would actually do a lot of the things that we're talking about. It would provide, number one, free coronavirus testing. Number two, emergency paid sick leave. Number three, emergency paid leave, right? So we know it's not just about sick leave, it's about taking time off if you're not sick, because right now people might not be sick and might still want to work from home. It's about expanding unemployment insurance and expanding food security so that $1 billion can be accessed to programs like WIC and SNAP, and that the emergency food assistance program will be accessed throughout the entire pandemic. Listen, we don't know how long this is going to last. The only way we will get through this is together, and I mean that. From at least on our side of this issue, what I have taken a really strong effort in is, again, making sure that everyone has the right information, not listening to rumors. Make sure you fact check what you hear, making sure that people who are sick know exactly where to go. And also listen to this. I am well aware, my team is well aware, that if you're sick and you don't feel well and you have some symptoms that you think are equal to what the symptoms are for COVID-19, coughing, a dry cough, a fever, I know that there are different or differing pieces of advice that people are getting when they're calling their doctor or the emergency room or urgent care or even the Department of Health or even the county health department. If this is what's happening to you, please reach out to us and let us know. My team has a call, and myself has a call with the governor's office every day. We will make sure that they hear what you are experiencing. This is the only way that we will make sure that every single New Yorker's voice is heard.
I'm on with the Assemblyman Michael Blake out of the Bronx, and he's always on with us, and he's going to give us an update, a coronavirus update, and the impact on the New York City low-income communities of color, immigrants, seniors, students, and also the impact of the upcoming elections.
Dr. Lee, there's a lot happening in the world of politics, a lot happening in our communities. First and foremost, we're keeping all the families impacted by coronavirus in our thoughts, especially those that have passed away. So many different changes that are happening that we want New Yorkers to be aware of. First, you've probably seen the news, heard the news. New York City schools closing in person for class operations, effective immediately until at least April 20th. Yeah. There's going to be remote distance learning starting next week. We got to make sure that people can be fed. So we're going to be collaborating, making sure that grab and go breakfast and lunch is going to be happening for our kids and our students. And we are going to be announcing a very large announcement and partnership about how we're going to be providing food to families in the Bronx. Stay tuned. Follow us at MR Mike Blake on Twitter to look out for that announcement coming out in the next 24 hours.
I'm going to be right there with you.
Absolutely. We need you, Dr. Lee, because it's going to be major. It's going to be major about what we're doing. Everything around how we're helping our low-income communities. So eviction protections, you can't be evicted as this is happening. Utilities, utility bills being held off. And they're not going to be charging you that as this is going on. But the next step is we got to make sure we help our small businesses, because our local restaurants, our local small businesses, if they are not able to be open, they're not able to pay employees, we're not able to pay employees, and people are struggling on how to make ends meet. And so that's the big thing that we need everybody listening to be working on. Make sure to call Senate and demand that Senate passes the bill that the House already passed, so we can get these billions of dollars to New York, so that we can then continue to work here in New York State to get people hired. Yeah. It's a public health crisis, but we can't make it worse by people not being able to pay their bills.
That's right. Now, how does it affect the elections?
Oh, it's major. The mayor announced that the special election for Queensborough president has been postponed for next week. It has also changed the petitions for those of us that are running. So myself running for Congress, those running for Senate, those running for Assembly. The governor has changed that threshold. So less signatures that we have to gather to get onto the ballot. But now it has to be submitted this week as opposed to 2 weeks from now. So you need 30% of what was originally requested of the threshold. So that means what everyone has to be attentive on is obviously less people knocking on your doors, but maybe more people calling, more digital, more mail, more ways of getting targeted or reaching people directly. This has changed the game, Dr. Lee, not just for this year, but I think for politics in general. Because people are afraid, understandably, of being outside when it comes to coronavirus. So as it relates to what's happening, I want people to really hear me on the things I'm about to say so you can stay involved. You want information around what's going on with coronavirus, text COVID, COVID, to 692-692. Again, if you want information around updates from the city around coronavirus and what we're doing collectively, text COVID, COVID, to 692-692. If you want to find out what's going on politically and how you can stay involved politically with all the changes that are happening, text Blake, BLAKE, to 66539. Text Blake to 66539. A lot of things are moving, a lot of things are happening. But the reality is we're going to get through this together. We're New Yorkers. We're strong. It's not easy times, but we're going to get through this together.
That's right. And God bless you.
Absolutely.
All right. Assemblyman Michael Blake sharing the updates about coronavirus's impact on the New York City low-income communities of color, immigrants, seniors, students, and also the impact on the upcoming elections. Michael Blake, the Assemblyman out of the Bronx. Keep it right here. I've got you covered. We'll take a break, come back with more next on BronxNet.
This is definitely a first. We've done remotes before, but none like this. Good morning, fam, from mi casa. Still some headlines from the world of sports, albeit not as many as usual. Let's start in the National Football League, the NFL. Looks like Tom Brady's suitors are lessening by the minute. Tennessee has decided to re-sign veteran Ryan Tannehill. 4 years, $118 million for him. Brady, from reports, really wanted to join San Francisco. He's a real big Joe Montana fan growing up, but the Niners are out and will stick with Jimmy G, Brady's former understudy in New England, who was traded from the Pats to the Niners back in 2017. That leaves Tampa Bay and, of course, the Patriots. I still think, like Las Vegas, that Tom is heading back home. Congrats to Ryan on franchise QB money. Titans going to go for this one with Tannehill at the helm. The New York Football Giants didn't trade for Leonard Williams in a contract year during a losing season just to let him be a short-term rental for the team. So apparently they're going to keep him. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN.com, the Giants are expected to franchise tag the defensive lineman. Efforts were apparently unsuccessful in working out a long-term deal with the former New York Jets first-rounder. NFL free agency will reportedly move forward as planned on March the 18th. And some big news from the NFL, a result that will reshape the league and bring about harmony, hopefully, for the next 11 seasons. The NFL Players Association members voted to ratify a new CBA that was previously approved by NFL owners back in February. Notable changes in the new deal include the addition of 2 more teams to the playoff field for 2020, if there is a season, an option to increase the regular season to 17 games starting in 2021, and an increase in minimum salaries, performance-based pay, and player revenue. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. It looked like IndyCar and NASCAR were going to give it a go over the weekend, but they too decided to sit this one out. Only really the UFC and some of these leagues across the oceans here are still playing. Indianapolis Motor Speedway has addressed the Center for Disease Control's March 15th recommendation that crowds larger than 50 be limited for 8 weeks. In a statement early this morning, the track said it's aware of the CDC guideline and is planning for all contingencies, but also will be prepared to run its events in May. The track opens in earnest with the first week of May with the GMR Grand Prix scheduled for Saturday, May 9th on its road course. IMS then switches over to the Oval the next week for the Indy 500 qualifying on May 16th and 17th, and of course the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500 on May 24th. IndyCar announced last week that its first 4 races of the season would be canceled or postponed because of the outbreak. For the National Basketball Association, this impact stretches beyond the 30-day shutdown that Commissioner Adam Silver imposed last week. The shutdown was due to last until at least mid-April, which was to be the end of the NBA's regular season. 8 weeks would last until mid-May, which is the approximate start of the conference finals. Staging an NBA game with less than 50 people, of course, would be very, very hard, extremely hard, if not impossible. Players, coaches, training staff, game officials get you to 50 fairly easily. That's before you add in any form of broadcast crew and arena personnel. And, of course, that's without any fans present for the games. ESPN's Woj reports that the NBA is prepared for a potential return to play in mid to late June, and that's with no fans present and only if the leagues can secure arenas. A Yankee minor leaguer and a third NBA player have tested positive. I'm sure we will see more of this in the near future as the cases rise around the country. Apparently, the Yankees are all okay. He had no contact with any of the major league players. Rick Pitino is returning to college basketball as the next head coach at Iona College up in New Rochelle. School announced this on Saturday. Iona coach Tim Cluse announced Friday that he was stepping down due to health reasons after 10 seasons with the Gales. Cluse won either the regular season or conference tourney championship every year from 2012 to 19 before missing this past season with an undisclosed health issue. The 67-year-old Pitino hasn't coached in college since October 2017 when Louisville fired him after an FBI investigation into college basketball. No one from the Cardinals was arrested, but they were linked to the investigation through allegations that Adidas paid $100,000 to the family of 5-star prospect Brian Bowen to steer him to Louisville. Second chance here for Rick Pitino with the Gales. Hopefully he gets it together up in New Rochelle. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a hand to those lending hands, hopefully washed hands, during trying times. As major sports leagues, sporting events reacted to the coronavirus outbreak over the last 48 hours, 72 hours, several professional athletes and organizations are pledging to support arena workers who might be out of work while play is being suspended around the world. So the trend began with Cleveland Cavaliers star Kevin Love, who decided to take action and donate money to the cause. With the cancellation of the NBA, NHL, MLS, and much more, hourly arena workers will presumably be without paychecks as well. So Kevin Love decided to donate $100,000 in support of the Cavs arena and support staff that had a sudden life shift due to the cancellation of the NBA season. Milwaukee Bucks superstar and reigning league MVP Giannis followed Love's lead, announcing on Friday that he will donate $100,000 as well to the Bucks staff. New Orleans Pelicans rookie star Zion Williamson pledged to pay the salary of workers at the Smoothie King Center for the next month. Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert, who was the first NBA player to test positive for the virus, announced that he would help out on Saturday too, donating more than $500,000 to support both the Employee Relief Fund at his home arena and COVID-related social services relief in Utah, Oklahoma City, and within the French healthcare system. Mark Cuban and the Mavericks really started the convo during the night that the schedule was postponed. On Friday, the Mavericks announced in Dallas that they are implementing a plan to ensure staffers are paid during the NBA's coronavirus suspension. On Saturday, LA Lakers, LA Clippers, LA Kings announced a joint venture with Staples Center to take care of arena staff. The Brooklyn Nets, back here at home in New York, are doing the same, and we've seen players pretty much from all of the leagues step forward and offer support. Kudos to all of them. Let's stick together here through unified social distancing and acts of kindness like this. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay tuned for more Open back after this.
Here we go. I'm on the line with Kathleen Booker. She's a breathing coach. Breathe in, breathe out. Tell us all about it. How do we continue breathing in these times of peril?
Well, they really are difficult times, new times that we get to navigate right now. And thank you so much, Bob, for reaching out and caring so much about your audience and the world at large to share with them the power of the breath. So thank you very much. I'm honored to be on your show. In this time, one of the things that is so important is to keep our stress levels down. Now, are there things that we have to do? Yes. Do I need 98 cans of tuna fish in my pantry? And quite honestly, I will let you know I don't have 98 cans. I've got 95 cans of tuna fish in my pantry. So yes, there are things that we absolutely positively must be focused and clear on and take care of. Absolutely, positively, yes. And at the same time, we don't want to take on, as they say, the collective consciousness, that absolute fear energy that is out and pervading the world right now. Yes, there are things to do, and yes, there are things we have to take care of. Definitely get the food that you need in your house, the staples that you need in your house. Definitely, if there are medicines that you are on, definitely get them. And you want to have, at least a month or two. However, do you need to buy a case size of, let's say, liquid detergent? Is that really necessary, right? Do you really have to get that 100th can of tuna fish? And, I sort of make light of it because we do have to keep our sense of humor, but simultaneously take care of ourselves. And how do we not get caught up in the collective consciousness? And I'm going to invite everybody in the audience to open their mouths and take a very gentle breath in and softly, gently let it go. So how do we release all of that? The breath is an incredible way for us not to take on the freneticism, to be able to discern with clarity what is ours to take on and what is not ours. In addition, not to get caught up again into the freneticism, the anxiety, and the anger, which is something that I'm feeling, and the fear. To know, to be able to discern, okay, I've got to move my feet now. I have to do this now. And know that other energy is not mine. I can let that go.
Yeah, but there's a root of it all, though. Where does it all come from? Does it I'm sure they're getting it from social media, from TV, from radio, from word of mouth, headlines.
Headlines, yes.
So what should they do about that? Should they turn off the TV or just?
Well, I'm going to tell you, sometimes
open up a
you
book?
do have to turn. Sometimes you do have to turn off the television. I have my mom. That's my cat in the background, and that's how you know that we're in a different world now.
That's your cat in the background?
That was my cat in the
Oh,
background.
no wonder why you have 100 cans of tuna fish there.
We do have to be in the know, but we also have to have the courage and the confidence to turn off our television. And that's where the breath comes in also. It really puts us right into our place of homeostasis, as they say, which is balance. That is where we are releasing cortisol from our body. That's the fight or flight. That's the adrenaline. That's going to get us to listen to CNN, constantly negative news all the time. But the breath will give us the energy and the courage to turn that television off.
Yes.
To turn that television off and to connect into that place within ourselves, peace, calm, good feeling endorphins, where we are able to, I'm going to say, sift the wheat from the chaff. To know, okay, I need to get up and I need to get another month's supply of my medicine. Or, yeah, I really do need some more toilet paper in the house. To sift the wheat from the chaff. And also, when we're in that state, we're still going to be able to do our work because we're in a place of focus and able to access our ability to hit our goals. Because some of us have to still work, yes?
Yes.
And focus to get done what we need to get done. So let me speak about the breath and what it does for us scientifically. The breath is important at this time, your breath work practice. Number one, it bolsters and it enhances our immunity. A body that is fully oxygenated is a body that can fend off germs and viruses. It has been scientifically and medically proven that a fully oxygenated body is a body that staves off diseases. So we want to breathe. We want to do conscious connected breath work to keep our immune systems healthy. Number two, it supports our bodies to stave off, release inflammation. A body that is highly inflammatory is susceptible to dis-ease, is susceptible to stress, is susceptible to viruses and germs. And it can also exacerbate situations that are ongoing in a highly inflammatory body already, such as arthritis, bad for COPD, people with respiratory issues, a host of issues that come from inflammation. Number three, and this is like number one, all of them, it releases stress.
Yes.
As I said, the collective consciousness that is the global, seriously, feeling right now is high anxiety, high alertness in, oh my God, pandemonium. Yes, we need to be aware. However, if we stay in that place of high anxiety, of stress, that is cortisol that is flowing rampant in your body. And when your body is overflowing with cortisol, high blood pressure, that is headaches, that is stress. That's a body that cannot relax. A body that is relaxing is a body that can heal, is a body that can focus, is a mind that can relax. Now, I'll give you a really good example. One of my clients right now is 8.5 months pregnant.
Whoa, okay.
No, actually, she might have hit 9, forgive me. She went into contractions, and she is very much feeling the collective consciousness energy. However, the baby was in a position that is not a good birthing position.
Yeah.
So they sent her home from the birthing center. As we did breath work, and this is the other day, as we did breath work, the baby with the breath turned around.
Wow.
In addition to which, the mother relaxed.
Extraordinary.
Now, and I'm hoping that we can do some breath with the audience today. So I share with the audience the power of the breath. The breath is so powerful that this little one in utero was able to turn around into a birthing position.
The baby was ready.
Mother,
he was able to get ready, huh?
Yes, she, and most importantly, the mother was able to release the anxiety and stress. Now, when you're giving birth, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes with that. However, what I also want to share with your audience is that we're all giving birth in some shape, form, or fashion, right?
Yes.
And with the breath, every breath is an opportunity to rebirth yourself, to renew yourself, to revitalize yourself, to release from you that which does not serve your highest and greatest good. So in this right now moment, it really is imperative that we do a breathwork practice.
And you can use that breath work because there's always a door opening. There's always a birthing of some sort, no matter what you do, no matter where you are. Now, where can we go for more information? Because we can go. We need a whole day for what you're doing. You're an excellent coach. Inspirational coaching is what you do, and we appreciate all that you do. And thank you so much.
Thank you. In this time, definitely what I do, it's my honor to serve. So I happily offer to your clients, your guests, I guess I would have to send it through you, a link where they can reach out to me to get more information. Also, on my website, there is two free gifts. One, a 10-minute breathwork session. And
great.
And also on my website is how to quell a panic attack. And in addition, they can reach out to me, as I said, if they want to talk more about what's going on for them and go do a deeper dive with the breath.
Can we go to KathleenBooker.net?
KathleenBooker.net. That's Kathleen with a K. They can also reach out to me on Instagram. On Instagram, I am the Jedi of Calm.
All right.
Yes. And also, I am Kathleen Booker. They can also reach out via text or call. My number is 646-354-1537. Or they can email me at Kathleen, that's Kathleen with a K, Kathleen, at Kathleen.net. Are we able to do a bit of breath right now?
Take us home with take us out with some breath work.
So as long as you're someplace safe, close your eyes and just allow your body to begin to settle. Very gently and very lovingly inhale through your nose. Exhale softly through your nose. Allow your shoulders to soften. And again, take a gentle inhale through the nose. And a soft, soft exhale through your nose. And just feel the ease and the peace of your breath within your body, as your body, through your body. Open your mouth wide. Take a big breath in. And exhale, big sigh.
Oh, that feels so good. Can I throw some Quiet Storm music in there with that?
Yes, you may.
All right.
You absolutely may. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really am honored to be on your show.
Oh, you're welcome.
It.
And you're always welcome back. KathleenBooker.net. Thank you. That about does it for us here. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us, tuning in, checking it all out. You can keep tuning into BronxNet and BronxNet TV for continued coverage. Stay safe and healthy and have a great day. And always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser of the Dr. Vavli. I'll catch you over 107.5 WVLS. Love you all. Peace.